I'm Steve, Mark's at work, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Welcome or welcome back, and happy w- Thursday. I almost said Wednesday. It's Thursday. I'm still getting my back together. Um, so I thought we'd settle in with some Diet Sunkist. No shade. And talk again about caregiving. This will be part um, of a very long series now that we have. And for anyone who's not familiar with what we've been talking about in this series, there's a couple that I follow on YouTube where two partners, one is older than the other, and the older of the couple is very ill at the moment. And the other partner is doing the best in her way to provide care and doing what she believes is best for him, as far as dealing with doctors, doing home health, things like that. And she's getting a lot of negative backlash, a lot of critique, stuff like that for it. So, in reflection of that, Mark and I are kind of, hypothetically thinking, well, if we were in that situation, would we want that for ourselves? If I was the person who was sick, for example, just hypothetically, and Mark was my caretaker, how would that flesh out? If we were in the same spot. Um, so I'm going to try to pick up where I left off. But um, a sidebar on caretaking. There was no video last week because I was being cared for. I had a psychiatric sort of emergency and I was in the hospital for about 4 spilling into 5 days. I was well cared for. Mark and I had a plan in case something like that would happen because it's happened to me not for about 8 years, but it's happened before. And I have to say, Mark was a good caretaker, real life Mark. Um, Never complained about doing it. Was happy when I came home. Was happy to help. Um, wasn't mad at me for being sick, even though I apologized profusely. Uh, and things are going a little bit better now. So anyone who watched any of the other videos about what I was doing, because I was gone from YouTube for about 5 or 6 days. So we're going to try to pick up with the caretaking, and I'm going to hit probably bigger themes um, to just kind of bullet point rather than go through the minutia of so much. So the last time we were talking, it was about Mark buying a lot of food, pretty much. Um, like this couple, Mark and I live alone, in a small apartment where there's not a lot of space. And in the hypothetical where I'm sick and Mark is the caretaker, I have a feeding tube because I'm just recovering from surgery to treat what we were, just kind of saying was esophageal cancer. If, for example, that's what I had had, and they had done surgery to try to eliminate my esophagus so I wouldn't get the cancer or it wouldn't come back. And Mark is buying a lot of food, it seems, for one person. So that was kind of the commentary we left off on last time. It seemed peculiar, but people cope by eating, and I guess you could eat $600 worth of food by yourself. Um, where is my inspiration? 1 second, please. Enjoy the background while I step away. Okay, now we're back. Um, so I'm just floating through to see some of the things that we were inspired by. Mark has been ambitious, we'll say, in this hypothetical situation about me getting well. Very ambitious. To the extent that I'm eating a lot of things by mouth that maybe weren't my idea, that probably weren't the doctor's idea. Um, Mark is also getting very into baiting viewers, hypothetically, in theory. Um, Probably by saying that he's going to feed me beef and potatoes, even though I can't even fit, my teeth anymore, um, just for example. Uh, so, outside of the baiting, which he's been doing a lot more, because I think he thinks viewers like it, uh, trying to get back to the normal swing of things, at least as far as the channel. So, um, you know, we're still trying to live our life, even though I'm sick in theory, and Mark is, you know, attempting to take care of me. Mark also wants to have our channel go on. This is another similarity we have with this couple. They have a channel, we have a channel. Small channels. So theirs is larger than ours, but smaller channels. And we both post daily. So having something to post daily when there's not much to do because I'm incapacitated. Mark is posting videos about beauty boxes, about meal prep things, cooking videos. And I think that stuff is good because, one, it's an activity Mark can do without me, which takes the heat off me for a little bit of time. And it goes back to the old school stuff that people used to say they liked about our channel. We've gotten a lot of feedback from different people, in theory, that people liked the channel when it was cooking and going out on trips and doing stuff like that, and maybe some unboxings. And people are getting less interested in the white trash shit show that it's turning into, and the exploitation of an elderly man. In theory. Just putting that out there. So, nevertheless, it is a two-person channel, and people do want to see how the sick person is doing. So, I'm rolled on camera and sit there, and it's worthwhile to say that, despite Mark's alleged pushiness, you could say pushiness or assertiveness or aggressiveness, however you want to frame that, part of me might still want to be on camera. YouTube's been as much a part of my life as it has been Mark's since the beginning. It was our channel. So, not saying that I'm being forced to be on camera, but would it have been my idea? I don't know. I might have been napping. If I was recuperating, I might have been napping. Showing off, things that people had sent us. That's kind of a thoughtful thing to do. Mark and I have done videos where we've showed things people sent us to say thank you, just as a demonstration. So videos like that aren't too bad. And a lot of them, I think, were sent in the interest of making some part of Mark's life easier because he's trying to help me out. So the fact that Mark would get gifts when I'm ill makes sense to me. So that's something I could kind of identify with there. No shame, no judgment on that part. Granted, Mark and I, in real life, are I don't believe begging for things, but receiving them graciously is something that I think there is in common when it's a gift from a fan. Just an unsolicited gift with no expectation of anything in return. So, again, we're eating, and we're continuing to eat, and there's been discussions about, some heated discussions about two medical things that are going on, in theory. Now, let's just say, for example, I've been on camera for a while, and I haven't been too active because I'm a little sleepy because I'm recuperating, so Mark's pretty much running the channel at the moment. And one of the things he's mentioned is that the feeding tube that I have is burdensome to him. So he's kind of deciding what to put in it and when. And kind of just doing whatever he thinks is necessary. He has also refused service from every medical professional to come into the house at this point. So it's all on Mark. It's all on Mark to take care of me now. And that's pretty much all I got. So after being criticized for it, there was a little bit of over the top, I think he took a thumbnail of one of our videos, and like that feeding tube could not have been closer to the camera. I'm probably blurry now. So just saying. Mark also has now, I think maybe because of some of the stress, started fixating on things, fixating on haters, fixating on people from the past that he thinks are trying to screw up our lives, people who are gossiping, stuff like that. And I think I can appreciate that it would take his mind off of the horrible reality that his partner of X number of years is extremely ill. I can see trying to bury your head in the sand with some other nonsense so you don't have to actually think about the real grown-up issue of the fact that I might pass away, Mark's only human, he has his breaking points. And also, in Mark's defense, Mark hasn't had a day off, in theory, theoretical Mark hasn't had a day off. Mark likes to shop. Mark likes to get out of the house. This is something real Mark and hypothetical Mark have in common. Um, if someone could come over and just stay with me, Mark could get out of the house and go do all those things. You know, everybody needs a day off. You know, caretaker burnout is a very, very real thing. It's a very real thing. And everyone needs a break from it, I think. So I wish that that was something that Mark would take advantage of, frankly. But I don't see that coming at the moment, actually. Uh, so, as we go, okay, all right. Gifts, holidays. Valentine's Day has come and gone. I was in the hospital for Valentine's Day, real life Steve. So, ours came and went, pretty much. But Mark has a tendency to want to do holidays, and everything has to be filmed. There's no private tender moments that are on holidays. Everything has to be filmed. So Mark, of course, will buy himself gifts, because I wasn't able to, because I'm not leaving the house. I've barely left, my bed. And bought them for himself and then opened them. I've seen couples do that before. It's not how we do it, but it's not unheard of. So there's no reason, that if Mark bought himself presents, if I was not able to get to the store and haven't been, and he got himself something, a little something as a treat, not how I would have preferred it, because I would have liked to got him something for myself, but if I'm not able to, and he wants a treat, that's whatever. Also, it's quite possible, theoretically, that one person holds all the purse strings. Let's say, just in theory, Mark managed all of our money. All of it. And I had none of it. How in hell would I buy him a present anyway? Even if I had 2 strong legs and was in perfect health. I can't buy a present with no money if Mark controls the whole amount. So, just another thought as to why it may have, even if my health had been in good condition, Mark might not have got a present from me anyway. So as the channel's going on, Mark's trying to keep more things up, more boxes, there was an underwear box, I think, that we had opened, clothing, things like that. There was a discussion about a wheelchair. Okay, how I might benefit from a wheelchair. I could get out of the house. This is very true. I would not want to be crippled, in the house. I'd want to get out. Real Steve and hypothetical Steve, who is ill, would want to get out of the damn house at some point. So, I think a wheelchair is an excellent idea. Mark thinks a wheelchair is an excellent idea. Mark's going to have to find someone to push it, because I don't think he's going to want to, or even attempt to. And there's a number of ways that you can go about getting a wheelchair. Mark puts it on our Amazon wish list. Pretty much. So we don't go through any medical providers or device places or even attempt to buy one. We let someone get it for us. Now, that's a very generous gift, in theory, and I'm now mobile, which is a wonderful gift. Let's say I'm emotional, because I'm contemplating deep things, in theory. If I'm very ill after having had chemo, operations, complications, for any reason, it gets scary, if I'm contemplating being at the end of my life. I might be a hair trigger for a lot of emotions. I might be sliding a little bit mentally and have exaggerated reactions to things, even good things. So, never one to miss an opportunity for drama. As I was kind of showing my gratitude, let's just say, for this gift that we got, in a rather embarrassing outburst, Mark grabs the camera and films it. Let's just say if the situation was reversed, I don't know that Mark would let me post a video of him in a similar condition. So, suffice it to say, it was a bit much, I think. If I were the person who was ill, would I even have the capacity to say delete the video? Would I remember in 2 days if it was filmed? Would I remember how I acted? you know, do you toe the line of taking advantage of somebody in that way? I mean, what was he gonna say? No, don't film me. Um, so it depends. It depends on your, you know, your perspective, I guess. Uh, Now, we have a friend who helps me get around. We now have a designated person to push my wheelchair, and Mark just comes along with for support, advice, guidance, wherever we're going, or appointments, or just to get out, which is good. It's always good to have extra support, you know, especially for a couple, like hypothetically, like us, who has a very small circle for reasons unclear, I guess. And it's important that we have another person involved if possible. And that's a good thing. So now this other person and Mark are doing mukbangs and talking. And I'm still there as much as I have been for the last month, just kind of sitting quietly. Maybe aches, maybe pains, maybe sitting up in the chair, leaning back, but um, periodically just hollering out subscribe in the middle of the video, um, or thank you for watching 2 minutes into a 20-minute video. Um, you know, it can be confusing. You know, being ill can cause confusion. Being ill in any way, having a cold can be disorienting. So the situation that I might be in if I were ill in such a way, and it was difficult to eat anything, and I wasn't sure I was getting proper medical care because nobody with any medical training has seen me in a while. Um, you know, that's tough. You know, I'm kind of just along for the ride. So whatever Mark wants to do, I'm going to do. Whatever Mark wants to feed me, I'm going to eat. Whatever Mark wants to treat me with, I'm going to be treated with. I can fight verbally, I can be cranky, but ultimately, he's going to win, pretty much. Uh, okay. Then, okay, things get okay. All right. So we missed, let's say, a holiday. For example, let's say Mark and I missed Christmas because I was in the hospital getting some help. So we're going to do Christmas belated. Um, and we do it in February, we'll say. Now, real life, Mark and I did that with Valentine's Day because I was just in the hospital over Valentine's Day. So when I got home that evening, Mark had a gift, um, and we opened it, and it was an electric blanket. I almost wet my pants. I was so excited. Um, and that was nice. We did, you know, exchanged it and talked a little bit about, you know, when we met and all that fun reminiscent stuff. So I get doing holidays late. That's no big deal. You do it when you can. You know, no shame, no hate on that. I do Christmas in July. That's cool. But the I don't know. I think Mark's getting sick of me. Hypothetical Mark might be getting sick of me or sick of taking care of me because the tone in some of our videos is getting lousy, and I think our subscribers are kind of starting to pick up on it. Um, there's just no I don't know, it just doesn't look like we like each other very much. You know, I think he's burned out and defensive constantly, and I'm just not feeling well. You know, I don't think I'm improving. I think I'm getting a little worse. And it makes you think about those big life questions, and it's, you know, it's hard to be cared for too, especially if you've been independent for most of your life or all of your life up until then. So, you know, I don't hold that against hypothetical Steve for being a little withdrawn and a little weepy and a little you know, upset periodically or a little moody. You know, I wouldn't hold it against either hypothetical Mark or hypothetical Steve for being moody. It's a crappy situation. Even if it was being dealt with flawlessly, it's still a shitty situation. So, I mean, I have to give that. Now, taking a more serious turn, doctor's appointments, one after another. You know, let's say for a routine visit, I go, you know, not routine. I'm recovering from surgery for cancer, so not routine, but routine enough for a person in my condition. We go to the doctor, and then they find some concerning stuff. Let's say, for example, blood clots, And I'm directed to go to the hospital, and Mark doesn't want to go to the hospital where we went to, where they had my medical records, where they had a bunch of my where my surgery was done, for any number of reasons. You know, anybody could speculate as to the reasons why Mark doesn't want to go there. If you ask me, I probably couldn't think of any because I have other stuff on my mind, like why are we going back to the hospital? So, you know, let's just say we go to a different hospital and they find some things like that. Now, that's when things get serious. When like if I was sick, had chemo, got a little better, had surgery, was recovering, had to have an unnecessary second surgery, and then found another concern, this is getting concerning. This should be very concerning. It's all concerning. It's all concerning. Real, fake, hypothetical, the couple I'm watching, the couple Mark and I are, all of this is concerning. And I think it's starting to turn a corner now, possibly, where in the beginning Mark's decisions were could be argued to be reckless or thoughtless or ill-informed, and a casual observer could say, yes, refusing medical advice and not going to get extended help and all these things could have put me in a more vulnerable position to get worse faster. That argument could be made. But at the same time, whatever brought me there, I feel like I'm getting close to the end soon. And that's unfortunate. That could be the end of a life. So this is where the snark will stop for this video, because I did want to do the series on caretaking to the point it was going to stop whether if he got better or if, you know, hypothetically I got better, or if I were to have passed away. I have a sneaking feeling that the couple that I've been watching, one of the partner who's ill, isn't long for this world. And that's unfortunate. I've been following that channel for 5 years, I think. I've watched them make 1,000 turkeys. Every weight loss video, every real weight loss talk video. Oh God, HelloFresh. I mean, I've all of it. You know, all the old school stuff before it, you know, things took a different turn and tone. And I feel genuinely bad. I don't feel guilty for judging someone who makes poor decisions that could expedite a person's death, but I do feel compassion for anyone who's going to be losing a loved one. That's hard. You know, I can, you know, not like you, but still relate to you. You know, pain is pain, you know, and loss is loss. So, not that I'm putting this person underground, but when complications need to start to snowball, you know, it worries me. So my only hope going forward is that, no matter what happens, that there's comfort for the sick partner, that whatever goes on, whether it gets worse, whether it stays the same, whether there's improvement, that there's an absence of pain. It's hard enough probably on his mind to have to try to make sense of all this and cope with this, let alone to be distracted by the fact that he's in pain all the time. So that would be my hope, however that would come together. As for hypothetical Mark, reality is going to hit hard and fast, and it's not satisfying, you know, to watch an outcome like that. You know, it's one thing to be like, oh, I watch for the shit show, or, you know, I watch for the drama, or for the train wreck, or, you know, to feel better about myself, or to make fun of people, or the 1,000 reasons any of us watch channels, to review them, to have a discussion. You know, it's all well and good to do that, but at this point, I'm not feeling good about the direction it's going. So we'll see. A week is a long time in a dire sort of situation I feel like is going on. So we'll see if there's another caretaking video next week. But this is where we're going to leave off from here. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and contact info is all listed below. Thank you for watching, and we will catch up with y'all tomorrow. Bye!